today we are covering how to find the best neighborhood for you and your family in Austin.
I like it.
Yeah. So
let's dive in. Before we do, make sure you leave a comment and tell Ryan not to replace me with Sonny. It sounds like I'm getting replaced.
Not yet. She's a little better looking than you, though, to me. Sorry.
I would hope so.
So, when it comes to finding the neighborhood that you're really wanting, it's a big process, and I think that people should know that there's a workflow there for you, right? Mm-hmm. And you kind of got to figure out one thing before you do the other. And so the number one thing to start with is, you always start with price, right? You need to know how much you're approved for, and that sets the tone for the rest of the workflow.
Right, because that kind of creates the process of elimination.
Yeah.
Because once you know your top level or what you can purchase, that's going to kind of start to narrow down the neighborhoods from there, so you're not searching all over the city.
Right. Yeah, and then from there, you're going to go to work, school, lifestyle. Okay, and what I mean by that is for where are you geographically located, right? And what is going to be your tolerance for dealing with traffic? We have a traffic problem in Austin, right? And what I hear over and over again from people moving from California is, oh wow, it's not going to be a big deal. I'm used to 45 minutes of traffic, but you acclimate here. Okay? Mm-hmm. And if you're driving 45 minutes in traffic and everybody isn't, it's going to wear on you in most cases. So we always start with where do you want to work? I mean, where you are working, rather, and how far is your tolerance for that? And it's going to be less than you actually think it is, right?
So I like to do the 20-minute rule. So if you kind of have a neighborhood you want to live in, go drive that neighborhood and get there at 7:30 in the morning or whatever time you leave for work, and then drive to work from that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And that's going to gauge it, and it doesn't matter the miles per se, but I like to stick around 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Give or take on a good day, maybe 15, bad day 25, but I'm still around that 20 minutes.
That's right. And as this city grows, it's going to get worse. So you have to keep that in mind. Next, if you have a family or you're going to start a family, you need to look at your schools, right? And what are your priorities for how good of a school you want? And Austin's a little bit different than some areas I remember being in Houston when I lived there. Austin has better schools by and large than Houston and San Antonio, right? And we pay higher property taxes here. So, I think that if you're moving to a place where the work is a manageable drive, you're going to also want to next go to schools. And not just because you have children, but also because of resale. Mm-hmm. So a great resource for this is greatschools.org. And Tina, if you would put that into the chat there, and you can rank, you get the school ratings are from 1 to 10. And they'll go up and down a little bit. I'm in Barton Hills. I believe Barton Hills is an 8 right now. When we moved in, it was a 10.
I'm not the person.
No,
that is not my
you'll get there
area of expertise just yet.
Right. But, and then from there, you also have to think about lifestyle, right?
Absolutely.
Where is it you're going to go on your off time? Especially if you don't have children, you got, first of all, price, then, distance to work, and then your lifestyle. What is it you like to do? When I first moved to Austin, this was 20 years ago, I first moved to South Austin, and South Austin at the time, still is, was very local business centric, right? Mm-hmm. I moved from Houston, and our very first duplex was in 183 North, near Anderson Mill. And coming from South Austin, moving up there, everything on 183 at the time was all chain restaurants, right? Yeah. It was, Outback, Applebee's, and they had a couple of local restaurants, but for me, it felt like I was living in kind of anywhere USA. Right. And my frame of reference before that was South Austin, and I loved going to local restaurants. So that was a big draw for me to move out of North Austin. Now things have completely different over there now because the domain is full of local venues and restaurants.
Booming, and that's a a lot of these criteria is how I picked where I live, which is central.
Yeah.
You know, because being in real estate, we're out and about a lot, and I try to avoid the traffic. So I like central because if I'm north, I can get home certain different ways. If I'm south, there's multiple ways I can get home.
Yeah.
It's close to the office here on South Lamar, and I'm right up the street from the trail around Lake Austin.
Yeah.
So that's I pay a little bit more in rent, but I also offset that with less time in traffic, more outdoor activities, things like that.
Yeah, and it's worth it to some people to pay more for a home and be geographically located to be close to your work and where you want to play, really.
Yeah.
The next thing, this is a big one for a lot of people, is if you're moving here and you have family here, right, and you're going to be relying on that family for childcare, how close are you to them, right? If you're moving to North Austin and your parents, they're going to provide some childcare and they're in South Austin, that's going to be tough, You're not, if you're dropping them off for babysitting, it's going to be, it's a big journey.
Yeah, you want them close. And the couple who just purchased a home, just sold a few weeks ago, they're moving from Houston, older couple, moving close to their kids.
Yeah.
And they're within, a mile or two, so they're right there in the wheelhouse, so they can be there, and they don't have to, there's no major roads or highways, and they don't have to worry about traffic. So it creates a nice, you need me to babysit again tonight, I got to drive 30 minutes, or what about this? They're all right there in the neighborhood, and it's going to work great for them.
Yeah, and that's an excellent point. I didn't even think about that when I was putting these notes down, is that, a lot of people are moving here to be close to their adult children, and that's definitely a factor. And then the last thing is, finding a home in your price range. And I want to talk a little bit more about this because I see this a lot where people want to get in a certain neighborhood, and what I found is people's criteria changes once they start looking. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten in a car, people like, I want a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, right? And I've got to have that. And then we start looking, and like the neighborhood you want that in, you can't afford that in.
Right.
Okay? So you're going to have to make some sacrifices. The other thing is cosmetic repairs, right? It's a tough market out here, and I think that there are some advantages for those of you out there that are looking for homes that aren't turnkey. Right, and
it's a huge advantage,
especially
when you're working with agents who know how to handle that situation, and not just we're closed, off I go.
Yeah.
No, I mean you've lined up the contractors, the numbers all throughout the option period, the contract period, everything, so you know what that house needs before you close on the deal, and then everything is lined up. So when you do close, the work begins. Things are picked out. You've got it wrapped up a lot quicker than you think because. In my experience when talking, they always think a remodel or minor updates are going to cost more and take longer than
always.
And that does happen when you don't know what you're doing, or you're working with somebody that doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But working with somebody that knows what they're doing, who has good, reliable contractors, industry people that you can line up. They're going to give you a great price because you use them all the time.
Yeah.
They're going to get the work done because they want, obviously more business.
Yeah.
And it just makes the process so much easier and streamlined.
And it's a great point that you make, Matt, because that is one of our core principles and one of our services we provide. We do 20 to 30 renovations a year for our sellers, for our buyers, for our investors. We offer our clients a staging consultation, not just to the sellers, but to the buyers. And I want to be clear on this, this isn't interior design. It's a little bit of interior design, but it's not, we're not going in here and rearranging walls or whatever, but we have the top trending colors. We know, where to get materials at the cheapest price. We know, the vendors that we use are trusted. We don't just hand the vendor over to our clients. We arrange things for them. Yes, you will be in charge of paying for them. And I think that if you're moving to Austin or you're moving anywhere, you need to be on the search for kind of a concierge type real estate professional.
And it's kind of you talk about we just don't pass them on.
Yeah.
No, I don't like doing that because sometimes somebody has to be the bad guy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I'm absolutely okay with that.
Yeah, and so is my wife. She's the one who handles that.
I have no issue with that, because if something's not getting done, I'm going to make that phone call.
Yeah.
That way the client does not have to get worked up or upset, or how do I handle that? All they do is, hey, Matt, this isn't getting done. Okay, I got it.
Well, and it's not necessarily being the bad guy, but if we, like our main contractor that we use is in communication with my wife several times a week on other projects.
Right. Yeah.
So, sometimes people that aren't used to working with someone are going to be a little timid when it comes to saying, oh, they missed this part right here. Right. And the contractor probably didn't even know that, right? So there's that part of it. And then there's of course, the being the bad guy.
Yeah, bad guy was probably a bad use of words there, but sometimes you have to be. But contractors are busy and they do miss stuff. And, the one I work with, he always tells me, hey, do a walkthrough, make a list if I miss anything, send it to me. He goes back the next day and gets it done. Yeah,
blue contractor tape is a wonderful thing, by the way.
Yeah, you just mark it up. I take Evernote, I write it up, I send it to him, he gets it, he goes and gets it done. Yeah. And that's it. Yeah. No muss, no fuss.
Yeah. And there's more to it to finding a perfect neighborhood than just these things. This is kind of your go-to guide to having a workflow for doing this. But we can go into that further if you're interested. I want to see, we're having another broadcast next week, okay? And the main topic is how to find a luxury home in Austin, because there's a lot of things that people don't know when you're searching for luxury home, okay? And we're going to cover all of those things in next week's broadcast. But we also are doing a segment on real estate questions. We didn't get to it this week. But if you have questions about real estate that you want answered on next week's broadcast, drop a comment to the comment section. We're going to give you a 25 gift certificate to Alma Draft House for... we'll do a drawing for one of the questions.
And, some people are timid on asking questions because they don't want to be called out during this. Yeah. And if you don't want your name mentioned, just say, hey, don't mention my name. We'll still answer your question, but we won't, bring your name up.
Well, he's saying this because if you've got a tough question, we want that especially, right?
Right.
I think that's all for the announcements. Once again, comment below if you want to subscribe to future broadcasts. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and contact us for any questions you have. And we will see you next week.